Hello and welcome back to our lessons. In this video, we are going to learn how to use the recurring notifications campaign for our chat sequences. So, on the previous lesson, we have learned how to create a recurring notification opt-in. We did that using chatbot flow. So, if you may recall, we went to Facebook and Instagram and then chatbot flow builder. And after that, we selected the page and created our opt-in flow. So this is what our opt-in flow looks like. Okay, so we created this message, the very first message. So this message is only necessary because we wanted to use the comment auto reply as the opt-in, okay, as the first message that will be sent whenever the user comments on our post. And as you may remember, the comment auto reply private message or a DM does not open the 24-hour window. So we need to allow our customers or users to click the button, and in this case we configured it to have a text yes please. So if they click yes please, then the 24-hour window would open, and once the 24-hour window opens, we can now send our opt-in. So this is what we call the recurring notification opt-in. And once they click again the get daily messages, then they will be subscribed to our opt-in. And after that, we would be able to send recurring notifications to that person. So this is our opt-in message. And on the time gap, we used the recurring notifications option here and selected our recurring notification campaign. And after that, we added our message here. So when this message is sent, it would use the recurring notification opt-in token that we received when the customer clicks the daily messages or when the customer opts in to our recurring notification. So we can add as many messages here as long as we add a time gap. And the time gap should be set to 1 day. Meaning after 1 day that the previous message was sent, then we would send another message, which is a recurring notification token. So we can add as many messages here. Just do not overdo it, meaning do not send more than we are allowed to. And in this case, we are allowed to send notification daily, meaning 1 message a day. So that is how to send a recurring notification opt-in and how to use the time gap to send our recurring notification token. Now, I want to teach you how to use the recurring notification token when doing chat sequences. Let's first build a chatbot flow for our chat sequence. And let's name this as recurring notification chat sequence. This chatbot flow would serve as the holder of the messages that we are going to use for our chat sequence. Later on, I will show you what I mean. So let's click OK. And let's build our first message here. So let's say that this is my first message. And I'm going to say this is a dummy message, just a dummy. And then we are going to add our quick replies. And let's say that this is message number 1. And this is message number 2, meaning this is the second day message. And this is the third day message, okay? And then we can even add more messages here, the 4th day message. So the way it works is we are going to add a message for each of our quick reply here. And this message would contain a postback ID, and that is what we are going to use to send our chat sequence notifications. So let's say this is my sequence notification message number 1, okay? Note that when you are using a recurring notification token to send this message, do not add another message here because we are only allowed to send 1 message per token. So adding a continue to next step here would make us send 2 messages, and therefore it is not allowed. The second message will not be sent. So do not add another message here. And if you want to send another message, you can add another quick reply here to open the 24-hour window. So let's say next message. So if the subscriber clicks the next message, it would open the 24-hour window and the next message will be sent normally, meaning the next message will not use a recurring notification opt-in token. It will use the default 24-hour messaging window. So you can also use a button if you don't want a quick reply. So let's say this is a button. Clicking a button or a quick reply opens the 24-hour window. So this is also a valid way to make sure that the second message here gets sent. But if you just use the continue to next step here, then this second message will not be sent because it would violate the 24-hour policy, and it would also violate the recurring notification token, which is allowed to send one message a day only using the token. So let's remove that, and then let's duplicate this and add it to the second message. Okay, so you can use any messages here. We have an array of messages here. You can use a text, a carousel, generic, Facebook media. So in this case, let's just use a text message. And then we are going to duplicate this for the fourth one. Okay? Oops, this is the fourth one. Now we have 4 messages. We are now going to configure one by one to make sure that each message is identifiable. So this is message number 1, message number 2, and this is message number 3, and this is message number 4. Now that we have configured all the messages that we are going to use for our chat sequence, we can now save this. So let's rename this as our message holder. Alright, we have already added all of the messages that we are going to use for our chat sequence. The next step is we are going to configure the labels. Configuring the labels allows us to easily identify these messages once we use it on our chat sequence later. So let's name this as message number 1. And this one, let's name as message number 2. And here, let's name this as message number 3. And for this one, let's name this as message number 4. Okay, so let's save our flow. And finally, let's go to chat sequences and let's build a new chat sequence. Go to Facebook and Instagram and then click chat sequences. And after that, click create new messenger sequence. And after that, you would be able to see this interface. Now, what this means is the sequence number 1 message will be sent 1 minute after the subscriber opted in to our chat sequence. Since we are using our recurring notification token, we need to use 1 day as our timing here because we are only allowed to send 1 notification token per day. Now, we are going to select the flow that we have created, which is the message holder, recurring notification chat sequence. And here, we can now easily identify the messages that we are going to use because we have changed the label. For the first message, we're going to use message number 1. And here, we are going to use recurring notifications instead of don't use a tag. So let's select the recurring notification option and select the campaign that we have already created. And let's add another message. And this time, let's add day and configure it to send 1 day after the first sequence is sent. We are then going to select the flow that we are going to use. And here, we are going to select message number 2, same as the other one. Select recurring notification and select the recurring notification campaign that we are going to use. Let's add our message, which is the third message. Configure it to send 1 day after. Select the flow. Select message number 3 here and select recurring notification. And as usual, select the recurring notification campaign. And as usual, we are going to set this to send 1 day after the previous message is sent. Select the flow again, same flow. And in this case, we are going to use message number 4. Select recurring notification and our recurring notification campaign. And that's it. We have created a chat sequence that uses our recurring notification campaign token to send this message even if it is outside the 24-hour window. Now, note that we should only subscribe our subscriber to this chat sequence after they opted in to our recurring notification campaign. Okay? Now, we can go to the next step and name our chat sequence. Okay, so let's name this chat sequence as our recurring notification chat sequence. And let's save the chat sequence. We have successfully saved our chat sequence. What we need to do now is create another flow, and this flow would serve as our opt-in for the recurring notification and for the chat sequence. So let's go back to Facebook and Instagram and then Chatbot Flow Builder. And then let's create a new flow. All right, so we are going to name this flow as opt-in recurring notification. Click OK. Great. For this one, we are going to send a first message, which is we're going to ask for permission to send the opt-in. We are going to give our subscribers information about the messages that we are trying to send, and also to let them know how they can subscribe or opt in to our recurring notifications. So let's say this is our message. All right, this will become our first message. Hi, first name. We are running special daily deals where you can get amazing perks and discount coupons. Do you want to get daily updates? And then we can confirm the changes. And after that, we can click add button here. And then let's say yes, please. Now, adding a button where users can click, make sure that the 24-hour window is open. And once they click the button, we are then free to send our recurring notification opt-in. So before we send our recurring notification opt-in, let's give a little instruction. All right, this is our instruction. So once they click yes please button, we are going to send this. Great. Simply click the get daily messages button below. Okay. And once we have configured this message, we can then send our recurring notification opt-in. So click on the screen and select recurring. Now, since we have already created our recurring notification opt-in, we can just select that campaign again so that we won't have to create a new recurring notification campaign. So select this, and we can use the previous one that we had created. We can even use a new one here. So just enable the create new campaign. But in this case, we are just going to use the previous campaign that we had created. So confirm the changes. Okay, so you may remember that this is the recurring notification opt-in that we created previously. So same is true. We are going to configure the opt-out message. For time's sake, so that we won't take too long, we're just going to configure our opt-out message as sad to see you go. You can add your own opt-out message here, but for our example purposes, let's just go with this one. Now that we have added our opt-out message, we are now going to configure the message that we are going to send after the user clicks this button. Note that once the subscriber clicks the Get Daily Messages button, they will be subscribed to our recurring notification campaign. And since they are subscribed to our recurring notification campaign, we also want to subscribe them to our chat sequence. To do that, we need to add an action element. So let's add an action element here. Choose action and configure our action element. So on the configuration, let's choose messenger sequence and click add action. And then let's choose what messenger sequence we are going to subscribe our user into. So in this case, we are going to choose recurring notification chat sequence. So this is the chat sequence that we have just created. And then confirm the changes. So once the user clicks the Get Daily Messages, we are going to add them or subscribe them to our recurring notification chat sequence campaign. And after that, we are going to send our thank you message. So let's say for our confirmation message, let's send this one. Thanks, first name. You are now subscribed to our daily deals. Now let's confirm the changes. We don't need to add a time gap here because we have already used the recurring notification chat sequence. And the chat sequence will be in charge of sending the messages that we have configured every day. So that is the main difference between using a chat sequence and a time gap when sending our recurring notification tokens. Now, it's up to you which method you are going to use when sending your recurring notification tokens. Now, that marked the end of this lesson. In the next lesson, we're going to show you how you can manage or delete or edit your recurring notification campaigns. So, see you on the next video.